You recording, Amy? Good, we are
I
recording.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start with a public hearing tonight. The public hearing is for a chance to comment on proposed local number 1, 2021, establishing the 2021 Senior Center and Disabled Tax Exemption maximum income limits. What it does, the intent is to align us to the town and the village, the town and the county income limits. So everyone got the sliding scale. I can show it for, let me see here, date, so that's last year's. Make sure I've got this right before I show it. Yeah. Okay, so this is right. Oh, can you give me the ability to share, Amy?
I think I can. Yes. I think that works now.
Okay. Okay, so what this does is if you are under the maximum income limits, you get an exemption percentage, either a direct exemption or a adjustment of your assessment to lower your tax burden in the county. So these are the numbers here that now represent both the county and the town's income limits. So this law would adjust the village income limits, which you can see start at 27.5, go up to 35.8, and it would align us instead to these numbers as shown here. That make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let everybody read through that for a minute. If you need me to scroll it around a little bit, I will. Okay, is there any public comment on proposed local law? Anything from the board first? Comments or questions from the board?
No.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Are there any public comments on local law number 1 of 2021? Remember, you started on mute. So if you want to make a comment, you will need to unmute. Are there any public comments on local law number 1 of 2021? Okay, if there are no comments, I will close the public comment period for local law number 1, and we'll open the regular village board meeting. We're going to start with a public meeting. I'm going to stop sharing here if that's all right, so I can see everybody again. There we go. We're going to start with a public hearing, a public meeting. And Sarah, you're up.
Hey everyone, my name's Sarah Grinberg. I live here in the village. First time speaking at one of these. So I'm just here to raise awareness and collect any initial questions about a project that we kicked off recently here in Athens, the Athens Community Farm, which is right now basically about 15 to 20 interested community members that are looking to grow food locally for the village. With the idea of that we are a farming community and we can grow food here in Athens and provide local veggies, fruit, herbs to our community through either direct distribution or partnering with local food access groups that are already doing things in town. The pantry's not taking direct donations, but there are plenty of other groups that do really good work providing food for people in our community. There's a project similar to this that was kicked off last year in Catskill. We wouldn't be copying them directly and just making a, doing something new here. But we do something unique to Athens. But if you were curious about an existing prototype or an existing example of something similar working in our area, the Catskill Community Micro Farm kicked off last year. We have a lot of work to do still. It's February. There's still 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. Hard to think about growing anything right this minute, but now's the time. And we'd made some progress working with Stefan on finalizing a location. So also just wanted to kind of see if there's anything else we needed to do with this group to move that forward. But I will stop talking and open it up if anyone has any questions, or if there's, any interest in things to talk about anything more with that project.
I will, let me share real quick, Sarah, if I can figure this out again here. So what Sarah and I are discussing, I've checked with both the DPW and the fire department on a proposed space. So this is the fire department here. This is where the DPW building is. Basically, it's in kind of this space right here. This is the parking lot for it in this area here. We wanted to keep this contiguous green space for the fire department here, but there's about a 50 by 70 plot right in here that is village space that I thought would be appropriate. Both the DPW and the fire department are happy with that. I did check with Tal, and I followed up with Sarah earlier, that, the only contingency we would have, there's a couple contingencies. The first is we would need insurance, so that if somebody hurt themselves out there on village property, that they've got insurance, which we talked about they can get through Friends of Athens, who's supporting the effort. The second would be, that if the board is willing to support it, that support would come contingent upon seeing the plan. In other words, what type of fencing is going to go up, what type of raised beds are going to go up, what do we propose that it's going to look like? So with a plan and with proof of insurance, that the board could propose to move forward.
Yes, and we agreed that we could have that. Now that we have an idea of what the space would be, we could, move forward with that. I can get that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when we talked about this, I don't know, about a month ago, I mentioned that if they needed it tilled, I got a big Troy-Bilt rototill. I would be more than happy to come down and till it for them. I don't, if they're doing the raised beds, I'm not sure if they would need it tilled, but if you want it tilled, I would be more than willing to come down on a night or whatever and do it for you.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, we weren't sure because we didn't know what space we'd be in, what we would do as far as, growing. But I think with this space, we'll need to do raised beds. But it's good to know. And hey, we might grow if things are successful.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, if you want it tilled, just reach out to me or whatever, and you can stake it out or whatever, and I'd be more happy to do it for you. So
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much.
yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Rob.
This is great. Is it enough space?
I think it'll be enough space for us to get started. It's it doesn't, not that we would have room for growth later, but I think we don't want to overextend this first year. But we just learned about this afternoon, so haven't gotten there yet to really scope out how much of that space would be usable. I mean, I think around 2,000 square feet or something is plenty of room to get some stuff going, get some beds in there and grow a lot of food. So
I think it's a fantastic community project.
yeah,
Sure.
I think it'll be great. And anyone and everyone that wants to participate, can, and whatever level they want to, you want to pull weeds once, you can get food, we'll obviously work through the logistics of distribution, but you're welcome to. You can't participate at all. Doesn't mean you can't take output from the garden. So I'm really excited.
So Sarah, when you go out and look at the space, what I had intended was that this line stay somewhat contiguous here, right? So this
Mhm.
becomes a straight line.
Yep.
This tree's not there anymore. So from this line back
Hmm.
to wherever the parking lot is, which may be a little further than that, what I have measured here, and I just kind of use that tree that no longer exists there, was about 2,200 square feet.
Yeah.
So there may be a little more on this end available. You just need to go see what's there up against that parking lot.
Cool. Yeah. And we can get creative and, yeah, we'll need space for fencing and
Yep.
keep all those little groundhogs out. But
Good luck.
yeah, I know. We'll dig deep. But yeah, it's exciting.
I think it's a
Sarah, this
wonderful
is,
idea.
Sarah, this is so great. And if this space works out, I'm so glad that it's something that's, accessible in the village rather than having to go out, whatever,
Mhm.
by car or whatever to, an area farther out. I mean, the location is fantastic.
Yeah, that was our initial thought, is that we want to be accessible by foot.
Yeah.
For anyone that might not have cars, also there might be people that still have to drive in.
Sure, sure.
But, at least to start, we want to be accessible. And,
Yeah.
if we grow and need more space later farther out, then that's great. But we
That
have a
would be
central
wonderful,
location.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a central location here.
And then I'm sure you have a lot more to do in the planning phases, but the funding, whether it's, for your fence, the beds, whatever, is there some type of plan afoot to make sure that's all underwritten for this group or?
There isn't a finalized plan yet,
Right,
but there will be, and we'll share that out. Of course, we'll need to do that work.
okay, cool.
Yeah, this spring. But I'm meeting with, we introduced it through Friends of Athens,
Right.
and and I'm meeting with Molly again
Oh,
this
great.
week to hopefully leverage that philanthropic
That's great.
tool to kind of
Right.
kick things off, and then have some sustainable programming throughout the
Right.
season to continue to raise funds.
Yeah, great. And I'm sure the Friends can definitely get the ball rolling for
Yeah.
sure. Great work, Sarah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very excited. One of
Very
these
excited.
meetings in a few months, we'll have something green to show you. So
Great.
it's very exciting.
So
Well, if
why
anyone
don't-
else has any other questions or interest, we are meeting the first Wednesday of every month as anyone interested in it. So you can email me at sarah.grinberg. I'll put it in the chat as well, at gmail.com. And I can add you to that invitation. It's 6:30 the first Wednesday of every month. So it'll be next Wednesday is our next meeting. And it's just a short hour-long meeting to check in on progress and talk about new fun things we get to plan. Like this week, I'll get to talk to them about a location, which is very exciting. But let me just drop my email in there. And anyone can reach out to me with any questions, any feedback, any community partners that you think we should be working with. I've reached out to Food Pantry, Hands and Heart Mission, but anyone else, now that we have a location potentially, we'll be able to put it out there more into the world, that this is something we have going. But reach out, sarah.grinberg@gmail.com, and we'll have more to report soon.
Thanks, Sarah. So since there is effort that will be needed in coordination with Friends of Athens, why don't we go ahead and propose a resolution to kind of give her some top cover and some permanence to what they're trying to do. Would anyone be willing to propose approval of the land between the firehouse and DPW building as discussed for use by the community farm on behalf of Sarah Grimberg and the Friends of Athens, pending proof of insurance and board approval of final plans?
I'll
I
offer.
will, Mayor.
I heard Ricky first
I'll second it.
and Rob second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. You get all that, MJ? I was kind of going off the cuff with that resolution there, but I think that gives everything they need.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
If you go out and find that it doesn't work, let me know and we'll adjust as needed, but take a look at the space.
Cool. Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
Good idea.
Any board questions or concerns over the minutes?
No.
No.
Would anyone like to propose approving the minutes for the February 10th Village Board meeting?
I will.
Ricky?
I'll second.
Me? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm taking a
Opposed?
picture for an email.
So carries. If everyone could mute, please. Okay. Were we able to review the vouchers?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Would anyone, any questions or concerns over the vouchers?
No.
No.
Okay, would anyone like to approve payment of vouchers as presented on the abstracts?
I will.
I think I heard Ricky again.
That's done. That's rearranging.
Second?
I'll second.
Gail, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank you. Okay, so going back to local law number 1. We have a resolution on the agenda to approve local law number 1, establishing a new schedule for real property tax exemptions. Be resolved that the village board approves the new schedule for real property tax exemptions for persons 65 years of age or over and persons with disabilities and limited incomes as attached. Is there any further discussion on that subsequent to the public hearing from the board members?
No.
No?
No.
Would anyone like to propose that resolution?
I will.
That's 3 for 3, Ricky.
All right, I won't say no more.
I'll second.
Amy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we're moving very rapidly through an agenda today, but I promise you we'll make up for it next week. So get plenty of sleep before next week's meeting. Okay, let's go through a little correspondence here. Again, I'm not going to read it all to you. It's fairly simple correspondence this week. So the first one, I tried reaching out and perfect. Todd, is Carol with you? I see your name on there, Todd.
Yeah, she's here.
Perfect. So the first bit of correspondence is from the Athens Performing Arts Corporation. Hopefully everybody's read it, but what they are looking to do is find ways to reestablish music in the park this summer. Essentially, they would map the park, establish the maximum number of people, and essentially meet the new laws for venues based on the space available. Fence off the park to allow only one entrance. Limit the usual 10 concerts to 8 or 6. Distribute passes through internet applications on a first come, first served basis. Instead of hiring the big, large national and international bands, hire smaller bands that don't attract as large a crowd. So they're basically, they're looking for ways to do this. The ask of the letter is to request a Zoom meeting with the village board. What I wanted to check with, I tried to call you, Carol, and I tried to call the number on here. What I wanted to see is would a meeting with myself and Gail and the chief of police suffice? If you want, the whole board will set it up as a public meeting with the whole board. It'll have to be in one of these, or rather than schedule something, or we can set something up with the chief of police, Gail and I, and get started that way.
Maybe just with the three of you, since we met with you and Roger, 2 years ago regarding the parking for so that might work. Yeah, I didn't realize it was coming up this quickly on the board agenda. But basically we're just looking for guidance and how the board's feeling about it. So
Nope, I think that's perfect. I think,
okay. I think the three of you would be perfect for it.
okay. Yeah, I mean, my thought, for the month I have left, my thought is that we adhere to whatever the state laws are, and the state laws have begun to open venues. So we'll just need to make sure we're clear on what those restrictions are. I think it's important that we bring the police into it along with the committee to make sure we're clear on what the roles and responsibilities are going to be, who's going to be at the gate, so to speak, so that we make sure that only ticketed people are getting in. How do we manage that sort of thing? What's the role of the police in that? Just so we're planning for it appropriately. But again, I personally very much look forward to it. And my thought as current mayor are that I will support whatever the state law is, which is allowing reopening of venues. We just need to
Okay,
make sure
great.
we understand what those laws are. So at this point, I can't speak for the entire board. We'll need to get the permitting in, et cetera, as we normally do each year, and have the board review it officially at that point. But I think it's a good idea that we meet, have a more detailed plan, so that when you put that permit in, you can include some of those details with it, the permit application.
Okay, that'll be great. I'll let the rest of the team know. And then as soon as you let us know a date and time, we'll make sure we can attend.
Okay, good. Tell you what, if you haven't heard from me by this weekend, shoot me a text and we'll get it set up. I may need a prod.
Okay.
And we'll get the Zoom meeting set up, but it won't be hard.
Okay, thanks so much.
Anything else from the board on that one?
Nope.
No,
Mayor, we can't, oh, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Mayor, we can't, as a board, make our own rules, let them in just so long, or we gotta go by the state?
We can be more restrictive than the state. We cannot be less restrictive than the state.
Oh, okay.
Good.
That's all I wanted to know.
All right. Anything else?
We just have a question in the chat. Once the plan is set, will it be made public for the music, right, Jane? I think it would, right? We would have to.
Yeah. So one way or another, it absolutely will. I think. Oh shoot! Oh, wrong button.
Oh, before approval.
So we can certainly discuss it again as a board. When the permit comes in, all these details will have to be discussed as part of approving the permit. So that would be part of it, not a public hearing to approve the permit. It's a standard permitting process, but we will discuss it as a board at the point where we permit it. I assume. I don't know that I can speak for everybody at that point, but that would be my recommendation. Okay. So I tell you what, though, what we will do is at the next meeting on the 10th, we're really going to make this a marathon session. Gail and I will discuss, and Carol, you're welcome to join if you like, but we'll discuss what we talked about on our meeting. So we'll bring that up at the meeting on the 10th. Okay, prior to the permitting process. Okay.
That sounds good.
Next.
Also, sorry, in the chat, you skipped the permit to pedal.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're leaving out Mr.
We
Dingling.
need Mr. Dingling.
He's important,
I just
I
had this
know.
conversation.
I don't hear that
How
song.
much I wish they would change the name before I approve these. I apologize. I had that right in order here too, and I skipped right over it. It's this one here. Okay. Yeah, before I talk about this, the reason it did come up this week is there is somebody out peddling door to door under the guise of being with the electric company, with Central Hudson. They are in fact not. They are with an electric representative. If they convince you to show them your bill, they can get a number off it and change you to their service. They do not have a permit to peddle in the village. They have a permit to peddle by the town, but that does not give them the right to be peddling in the village. I know the police were called on them. The state police showed and didn't understand the difference between a town permit and a village permit. If you see them, please call the local police, the village police, if we can get them, so that it's made clear to them exactly what the difference is between a town permit and a village permit. And don't let them see your bill. Okay, so with that said, let's come back a little bit to the permit to peddle. It is from Mr. Dingling Ice Cream. We've issued it at least every year since I've been here. probably goes back far longer than that. It is an ice cream truck. They want the permit for a period of 180 days from April 1st to October 1st of 2021. They pay a $75 fee for that 6-month permit. All of the appropriate information is provided on the permit. Any questions on this?
No.
Nope.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the permit to peddle for Mr. Dingling?
I'll make that motion before.
All right, Gail, I was waiting, Gail. I'll second it.
Vicky? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. And that is the last time I will ever have to say ding-a-ling in a public forum.
I wouldn't be so sure.
All right, so back to correspondence here. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, the second, pardon me here, the second is the New York Rural Water Association. They're having, looks like Board of Director vote-in, as well as offering some web-based training on sewer water systems, ones on excavation safety, treatment options for water and wastewater. Those are available to anyone who is interested in them. Okay, we covered the tax exemption. Next one, so Tal, I was hoping you could help me with this. It is the county has authorized municipalities to purchase county highways. So from a standpoint of the Village of Athens, that would apply only to Schoharie Turnpike, which is the only county road in the village, correct?
No, what they're talking about is whenever, this is kind of the piggybacking portion of putting things out to bid. So any time that they've put something out to bid and have awarded it to somebody, whether it's sand and salt, gas, whatever, we can piggyback on that same bid without having to go out to bid for ourselves. So they're just letting us know that to the extent that they've done something and put it out to bid, we can utilize it ourselves and tag on with them.
That makes a lot more sense to me. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea.
So we've got that one, and then, okay, so good. The next is different. So, all right, good. Thank you for clarifying that for me.
Yep,
I
no
wasn't
problem.
sure what that was. Okay, questions on that one? Obviously, mine have been answered. Okay, next one authorizes obtaining and furnishing election-related services and materials. The Board of Elections Commissioners are authorized to purchase materials for towns and village elections. And then, bear with me a sec. And then the final one authorizes them to then essentially charge back to the village, which we plan on every year. It's in our budget. Charge back to us any costs associated with standing up the election in the village. Okay. Questions on correspondence?
No.
Nope.
Thank you. All right. New business. The lawn mowing contract, the bid packages are out and due back to the office by 1 p.m. on March 23rd. So we will review at the March 24th meeting. Good. Any questions? Any issue with him?
No, we've had 3 or 4 people pick them up, so that's good.
Okay, great. Good. Next, we have an opening on the Conservation Advisory Council. There is a vacant seat. Is Josh on? He was. I don't see him now.
I'm here.
Did you just? Okay, there you go. You have names for us that you want to recommend, or?
Well, there's 2 names for 1 seat, so that's a board decision. And it's a 1-year, as you recall, there are 6 public members and 3 ex officio members. And of the 6 public members, 5 of the slots are assigned. There's 1 slot left open. It's for a 1-year term. And I believe the names were forwarded to you.
Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and nominate Merrill Roth, who was one of the names.
Oh.
Yes, Merrill Roth and Kate Collinson.
Okay. Any
I'll
questions?
second Merrill.
Okay. I can't nominate, but I would like to recommend Merrill. So would anyone like to forward a resolution to approve Merrill Roth for the Conservation Advisory Council?
I'll do that.
Gail?
I'll second.
Amy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Thank you. The CDBG application form, I owe them a number of pieces of information. MJ, I asked you for a little bit. I need some tax ID info and stuff.
Yes,
Otherwise,
I
I'll
was
sit
gonna
down
bring
and-
that up too, because I don't want you to duplicate it. I've already started that, so
Oh, perfect.
yeah, so I'll just fill in the blanks. I've started it this afternoon, and there's some signature pages that you have to fill out. And that's about it. So don't
Okay.
duplicate it. Don't worry about it.
Let me look at my calendar tomorrow real quick. Sure, I'm not still sharing. Next week. Oof. How late are you? You know what? I may be able to drop by at lunchtime tomorrow and sign whatever I need to sign,
Okay.
and just go over with you. Go over with what you've completed and what I need to complete. So I'll drop by, or I'll call you first, and then if we're at a point where I need to sign it, I'll drop by. Otherwise, I'll just we'll discuss what I need to fill out and what you've filled out.
Okay.
Good. Let me find Zoom again. Sorry. Okay. Anything else on that, MJ?
No, I don't think so. There's a couple other things that require your signature too, so might as well get those 2 done too.
Oh, okay. I tried to get all caught up this weekend. I snuck in there.
Yeah. There was one hiding on my desk.
Sorry. Okay. Old business. So the fire protection contract and the community center lease, I promise I will get those done before I leave. Rob has told me he's not going to get anything signed without the lawyer, but I will make sure that we've got something official from Tal back to them before I step out the door.
Okay, just on that note too, though, to let you know, we just received the fire protection money for the contract this afternoon.
Great.
So we didn't receive the contract, but we did get the check for
Okay,
that
well,
one.
we'll get a contract written up and get an official looking lease statement to cover us for this year, next year, sorry, last year and this year at least, as we figure out where we're going with that. Okay. Status of short-term lease rental fees.
Yes, I was wondering if there's any word on that, because we have the binder. There's probably about 7 people to 10 people that haven't sent in their application or permit application or if their fee. And there's other people that have paid and, you know, are doing it legitimately. So they need to be followed up on through code enforcement.
Okay, can send me the list, send it to
Okay.
me into the code enforcement number, and I'll chat with them about it. The code
Okey-doke.
enforcement email. You said it was 7 to 10?
Yeah, offhand, I think that's what it is. Couple in Sleepy Hollow, and then a few right through the village here that have been using them as Airbnbs for a while, so.
Okay. Okay. That's everything on the agenda. Now I've got a list of items, but let's go around the room first. Amy, you want to go first?
Yes. The fire gear is in. I just witnessed the everybody getting their new stuff on, and It's really cool. So
Like
that's
Christmas
all.
Day over there, huh?
That's all
I didn't
good.
get an invite, huh?
What? No, and they made me this. It's like it's backwards in the thing, but.
No,
And their security system is being installed. It's, I think Wayne said it should be done by tomorrow, or they're like midway through it. So that's all
Good.
going. And then the only other thing was I sent
The good
names.
news for Sarah is they're pointing a camera down at the DPW, so we'll be able to catch the hedgehogs.
And then the other thing was I sent that list of implementation committee. And I didn't know if that didn't make it on the agenda, so I don't know if we're going to discuss it tonight.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's cover that now. I apologize, I forgot to put that on the agenda today, but let's cover it now. So let me find the email. When did you send it?
Yesterday, I want to say one of those days, Blur's Day. I think I sent it on Blur's Day.
Got it. I found it.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't remember, it was the last meeting or the meeting before we approved the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee. So now what I'd like to do, so the term for the committee is 18 months. It's not revolving. It's each member is on for an 18-month term. If it's decided that it needs to be extended, it would be extended by the board at the completion of the 18-month term. The proposed names are Sheila Brady, Susan Grilly, Andrea Smallwood, Tom Satterley, Josh Lipsman, Annika Vogt, and Laurel Wolf. And the proposed chair is Todd Bernard. Any discussion on any of those? I know Amy and Rob worked to come up with that board, which I very much appreciate. Let me find my Zoom again. Any discussion or conversation on that? Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee as presented?
I'll offer that.
Gail?
I'll second.
Rob? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Thank you, Amy.
And that's all I got.
Okay. Rob?
Not a whole lot on my end. As we all know, we had the open house on Saturday. It was a great turnout. I'd like to thank everybody that showed up, the public, the past and present board members. A lot of people loved the building. They said it's going to be great for the guys. So I'm proud to say right now they just officially started working out of there as of yesterday. So they're officially working out of that building now. They moved a lot of stuff out of the old building the last couple of days, but then they had a water break down on 4th Street by the kayak launch that they had to deal with. So that kind of.
And now we're getting more.
Yeah. And
so what I did, Rob, by the way, just sorry, I'm getting a big reverb. I called Tal after speaking to Anthony earlier in the week, and we extended the potential closing date to March 12th to buy them a little more time. I checked with Anthony on that, and then called Tal and let him know that. So there's so much on the plate with all the snow we've had and stuff. I'm hopeful that the new purchaser understands, but we need to give them some time to get moved out. So
yeah, they the only thing is I just got left to say, if anybody was not able to make it to the open house but would still like to see the building, more than welcome to go down there and take a look at it. I'm sure one of the employees will give them the grand tour, or they can reach out to me. I'll meet them down there and give them a tour of the building. But other than that, I'm glad to see they're finally, after all this, couple of setbacks that we had. The original plan was we were going to be in there at the end of November, but didn't work out that way. But I'm glad to report that they're finally in there now. So, but that's it. That's all I have.
thank you, Rob. Gail.
I just have, the cultural center lease was sent to the office. Were you able to sign that?
I did sign it. Yep.
Okay. And the next for the charging station, would we be able to have this gentleman come on a Zoom meeting and talk to us about the benefits of buying or leasing? Maybe the first meeting in April,
That'd be great.
since the other one's gonna be so busy, you keep saying so. All right, I'll get in
The
touch
one on the
with him.
10th will be busy. I'll go through that in a minute.
Okay. Other than that, I don't really have anything.
Okay. Thank you. Ricky. You're muted again, Ricky. Ricky, you're muted. Ricky.
Is he on?
Yeah, Ricky, you're muted. We can't hear you. There we
There
go.
you go. How's that?
Much better.
I swear I
Okay.
didn't do it, Ricky.
Yeah, okay.
Wasn't
I
me.
talked to Seth. They ordered the new phone system,
Great.
but it hasn't been put in yet. They're just waiting on them to get it. Anthony had the leak man come in. I guess he found a few, and he's waiting on a report to find out where they are and try to fix them.
Okay.
And that's about all I got.
Okay. Tal?
Nothing specific for me, just helping everybody along with their whole list of stuff, and especially what you're about to talk about.
All right.
Hmm.
MJ, do you have anything else? MJ, you're muted as well if you're.
Hello, here I
Hi.
am. Okay. The Van Loan House, did anybody find out anything about the electric usage there? Just following up on that.
I did not. I forgot to ask.
Okay. And Dawn had mentioned at the last meeting that you want to have a public hearing for the police reform.
Yes, there are a
Uh,
couple of things next week. The
Now, is
10th,
that March 10th meeting?
March 10th, yes,
Okay, so that's still on.
yes.
And do we have any documents for the public so that if they
I
ask?
will
for-
by next week. I will have them so we can post them the week in advance.
Okay,
It'll be a
And-
draft plan from the committee.
all righty. And the other thing is just looking at the budget items, I'm just getting those in from the department heads in the next week. So I just decided to look at some things and see if there's anything glaring. And the only thing is you already discussed the cultural center, not the cultural center, sorry, the community center lease.
Yep.
So looking back over the last 3 years, so you're going to try to get something in writing about not this year current, but last year's rent as well, or lease?
That's right.
Okay. And as far as the janitorial services, usually they give us half of the
Yep.
cost of that.
Yep, I've got all that from you. And he had sent me a proposal. I just need to review his proposal against the overall square footage and get back to him with something that seems to make sense. His proposal wasn't too far off from where the original lease had been, but it was a little lower. I want to make sure I understand why and get back to him with something that makes sense. And we'll do it in a more formal way rather than just an email, so he has something to review with his lawyer.
Okay, and the other thing is, it might be a good time to discuss maybe increasing the fees on some of our permits. We have a fee schedule in the village, and I bring it up every so often because our rates are very low compared to similar villages and towns as far as population. And I know it's a little bit to look at, but we really should take a look at that in order to increase some of the revenue that we have.
Can you reach out to Catskill, Cooksaki, a few others, and get what their rates are so we have something to compare to?
Yeah, we started doing that, so I'll continue doing that. Something to think about during budget time.
Yeah,
And-
let's plan on taking a look at that during the meeting on the 24th if we can. That should be enough time to kind of get something together.
All right, and that's about it.
All right. Okay, so I spent some time on the phone with Tal earlier today. I don't have a whole lot. It'll just amount to a fairly long meeting, I think, next week. So a couple things. First, the city of Hudson, I think we talked about this last time, did an emergency order extending the use of streets for COVID like we did last summer. So it is my intent that we do so, that I do something similar. I don't know if that's a board resolution or an emergency order, how we put that together, but that'll be something I want to review next week, on the next meeting on the 10th. Is that would that be a resolution that we would do, Tal, or?
It would really just be your declaration.
Okay.
So, yeah, no.
With that, we're also looking, I think we talked about it at the last meeting, how could we make that space available to Crossroads on a sort of a lease or semi-permanent basis so that they have that outdoor seating. It worked out real well. Everyone seemed very happy with it, including myself. Tal and I have been looking at, we don't have a good answer yet, but we're looking at, is there a way to do that I can go back to Kenny with? So the emergency order will be something we'll talk about on the 10th. Then the big one on the 10th is that review of the plan for policing. I want to make sure we have to have that. It's got to be, we got to approve the plan by the 1st, which means our last village board meeting to approve the plan will be the 24th. So I want to make sure that we review it publicly on the 10th and give ourselves some time to make adjustments and take in any feedback we get from it. So we'll do that at the next meeting. And I will get it published and out next week. And Gail will help me. Tal is working the zoning law for mixed-use waterfront. I would like at the next meeting to review a proposed update to the zoning for the mixed-use waterfront based on what came out of the comprehensive plan. The reason I'm separating that from the implementation committee is that I do want to clean up that moratorium. And I'd like to get that cleaned up this month and make sure we've got that zoning in place. Before that moratorium expires. So it will require a public hearing as well. So yes. I want to plan that public hearing to review both the updated zoning law and the rescinding of the moratorium, which I assume requires a public hearing as well, since we passed it.
It does.
So I'd like to review those on 10 March as well, which means 3 public hearings, 1 on policing review, 1 on the zoning law for mixed use waterfront, and 1 on rescinding the moratorium. Okay, so that's what I have planned for the 10 March. I know it is not
it's my goal to have the zoning modifications and the repealer done this weekend and out to everybody by Sunday or Monday.
Great, thank you. So I know it's a department head meeting, not a public, but we got to get a few of these things done. And I want to make sure that we have another meeting, particularly for the police one, to review it prior to us hitting the deadline. So I appreciate you working with me on that. That's all I've got. So this is a world record speed meeting here, but I promise we'll make up for it next time. All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
Ricky.
I'll second it.
Amy. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.